everybody, this is Mrs. H, and welcome to First Chapter Fridays. This week I have this book, Dear Sweet Pea by Julie Murphy. She has written a lot of other really great books. This book, I love the cover. There's a girl here with her cat. Apparently the cat weighs 15 pounds and his name is Cheese. But it's about the story about this girl. Her name is Patricia. Her nickname is Sweet Pea. Her parents are in the middle of a divorce, but they think they have this great idea where they will still live on the same street. So she will have two homes on the same street. And in between these two homes, there's a neighbor who's a little bit eccentric and a little funny. So while this is all going on, she still has to go to school and have problems with friends. And then Sweet Pea also gets involved with something that her eccentric neighbor is going to do with writing letters. So it sounds like a great story about something and someone that we could all relate to, lots of situations that we've been in before. So I will read a little bit of story about Sweet Pea and we'll see what happens. Okay, this is chapter 1, The Cat's Out of the Box. I've counted my birthday savings 3 times, and at this rate, I don't think I'll ever have enough money to clone myself. I guess it doesn't help that cloning people isn't really a thing yet. Trust me, if it was, my mom would have already taken me in to make an identical model. One for her, one for Dad, easy peasy lemon squeezy. But since there can only be one Sweet Pea, my parents have decided the next best way to deal with their divorce is to have 2 houses. 2 completely separate houses on the same street that look just about as identical as 2 different houses could. Similar paint and rugs and even furniture. Mom gets the original and Dad gets the dupe, which makes sense because the old house belonged to Nana, Mom's mom, before she died. I spent a lot of time thinking about which of my things to take to Dad's house, but I'm what Mrs. Young calls a visual learner. So this morning, Oscar Rivera, my best and only friend, and I took an old roll of Dad's blue painter tape and split my room in 2. It reminds me of the blue line drawn down the middle of the gym that Coach Jeffers uses for dodgeball, which, if you ask me, is even crueler than the section on rope climbing we did last fall. Not only do your classmates have a popularity deathmatch picking teams, but then they get to peg you with rubber balls too. Hopefully packing up my room won't be quite as traumatic. What's your mom going to say when she comes home and finds your room like this? Oscar asks, his shiny black hair swirled into a perfect mold, using his latest discovery from the drugstore, pomade, a sticky hair product that comes in a glass jar, and Oscar swears it's a miracle. I shrug as I take a second to process the damage. My room looks like someone came in with a giant eraser and just wiped away half the whole place, leaving the other side in its usual state of perfectly organized mess. Unmade bed, mismatching socks stuffed under the bed, and stacks of old homework and newspaper clippings piled up on my nightstand. I won't be home to find out. It's Dad's night. Since there are only 7 days in a week, every other week, since Mom and Dad takes turns with who gets me for 3 nights and who gets 4 nights. Mom says it's imperative that neither of them is perceived as the dominant parent, but if you ask me, all you have to do is figure out which of my parents is in charge, is ask yourself who's making the rules to begin with. If you guess Mom, ding, 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 you're right. I split the books by alphabetical order. Mom's house gets A through M, and Dad's gets the rest. The division of all my other belongings was much slower and more snooze-worthy. But as Oscar constantly reminds me, if I ever need anything, I'll be 2 houses down the street, separated only by Miss Flora May's hulking 2-story house. At least you didn't cut the sheets in half, he says, and reaches down for a box with Sweet Pea's desk stuff scrawled across the side. Lift with your knees, I say, mimicking what I've heard Mr. McMullen shouting at his employees from behind his desk at Love's Hardware. I wasn't built for grunt work, says Oscar as he heads for the door. You got the last box? Yep. See you over there. I squat down to tape the flaps of the final box shut before standing, doing my best to lift with my knees. What does that even mean anyway? And why did I cram so much stuff in this box? But then, just as I steady myself, a growling meow vibrates from inside the box. I snap and drop it on the rug. Another meow, this one's softer. Meow. Oh, Cheese, I'm so sorry. I rip the tape from the box. Cheese, you gotta forgive me, buddy. Cheese is my 15-pound orange tabby. No wonder the thing was heavier than I expected. He leaps from the box full of random desk clutter and saunters out the bedroom, his tail slapping the doorframe. Cheese, I call once more. I wasn't paying attention. I'm sorry. What can I say? The cat can hold a grudge. Like kitty, like owner. I tap my index finger to the side of my head, hoping I'll remember to give him a few extra treats tonight to make up for my rude behavior. Cheese was our big family Christmas present when I was 6 years old. I was given the honor of choosing his name and decided to call him Cheese because he looked like cheese? I don't know. I was 6, okay? In hindsight, I should have named him after my favorite cheese, Havarti. With a sigh, I give up on the tape and fold the flaps of the box over before taking one last glimpse at my room. Crisp white trim with peach wallpaper and newspaper and magazine clippings pinned randomly all over every surface. A few Miss Flora May I advice column classics, neat pictures of places I can't even believe exist from Dad's National Geographic subscription, and a few strips from the comic section of the Valentine Gazette. I still remember painting the trim with Mom and Dad all the way, and the way Mom squealed when Dad ran a wet paintbrush down her back. I think I sort of get what adults mean when they say, if these walls could talk. Let's be real though. The thought of talking walls spooks me out big time. As I step backward to the front of the house, the screen door creaks as it shuts behind me. Goodbye, home, I whisper mournfully. A tad dramatic, don't you think? Calls Oscar. I whirl around. Just want to make sure you didn't need any more help. He stands on the sidewalk. Didn't mean to interrupt your big moment. I huff, blowing my thick black bangs into the air. I wasn't having a moment. I look back at the house, a red brick one-story with white trim and a bright blue door, Mom's addition, only slightly different from every other house in the block except Miss Flora May's. Okay, maybe I was. And the Academy Award goes to Sweet Pea DeMarco. I look off into the distance. I'd like to thank the little people, and by little people, I mean my best friend Oscar. My Academy Award is the most exciting thing to ever happen to him, so let's have a moment of silence for how sad that is. Har har, he says. You know I'm the talent in this relationship. I laugh. If you're the talent, I'm the brains. He swings the gate open for me. Well, let's get a move on it. I'm starved, and I was promised pizza in exchange for physical labor. Don't pretend like you would have done it for free, I say, walking through the gate. You love me. I'm your best friend. He laughs dryly. You're my only real friend. He points to Cheese sitting in the window. Did you hear that, Cheese? I'm her best friend. That gets a real laugh out of me. One time when Oscar was spending the night, Cheese fell asleep on his face. Oscar woke up sneezing every 5 seconds. I explained to him that it was a sign of affection, but Oscar was just a little bit allergic to just about everything, swore that Cheese had a jealous vendetta against him. Outside of Cheese, though, Oscar is my best friend, and I'm his. But since my parents announced our divorce, or as my mom called it, their mindful division, he's been there every step of the way, and somehow it's brought us even closer. So I will stop there. I'm very intrigued. I really like the way that this author is writing. She sounds just like the character. I like the character of Cheese a lot too. He's really cute. And I can picture him in my head because my parents actually have a giant orange cat. And his name is Rusty though. So I hope you like this book. If you need help finding it, let me know. It's possibly on one of our public library online platforms, such as Sora. It might be there, it might be on Epic, but I can always help find out where it is and find a copy. So just let me know. And I hope you enjoyed it and have a wonderful Friday.